post-lunch. Sir, the floor is all yours.
Online procedures player So there was a question the last of my speech.
Yes, sir, we are.
How we approach multi-religious audience. So here is a approach that can possibly be one of the main questions that we encounter when we talk about IKS is this. Am I right? How many of you have encountered this question? Am I audible?
No. Sir, could you please repeat the question? Okay.
So, how many of you encountered this question of Madam sir, will this help me get a job? What I get?
Roland, tell him that we are not able
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you.
Okay. There was just a small issue. We were not able to hear you, so we fixed it now. Maybe you can start with the question now. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So, how many of you encounter this question when you talk about IKS with students?
We haven't started teaching IKS. So this is the first time we are coming up with this.
So this is the first time we are floating IKS, embedded IKS with English. So
this
is actually English for us.
Fortunate to not have encountered this question, but probably you'll be encountering this question a lot.
Yeah, if I may, we are actually floating English curriculum where we are embedding for logical thinking and critical reasoning. We are embedding IKS with that. So we are not going to deal IKS per se, but we are intertwining that with
this is one of the pertinent questions around IKS also, that how is this going to help us in any way? In whatever academic pursuits that we are, how is this going to help us? So one of the ways of looking into it is that what actually engineers do, or anyone normally, and particularly to engineering students, that they would interpret that data, they would diagnose failure, compare explanations, evaluate sources, document decisions, and act with complete and incomplete information. They have to act if there is an incomplete information, and etc. So there are many things that we may have to do, and in all of this, again, before even acting or taking decisions or building something, it is important to know what is actually known, how it is known, what are the means of your knowledge, and how reliable is that knowledge, whether that knowledge that you have acquired is valid or not, and what action does it justify. So these are all fundamental questions. We can relate it to engineering scenario or to a day-to-day scenario also. These are universal in nature. So we talked about worldview in the previous session. So therefore, worldview, it influences what we notice. That means what we know. In comprehending or in analyzing that, our worldview actually it influences a lot. And critical thinking influences how we interpret it. So the means of interpretation is dependent on the capability of our critical thinking. And at the end, technology that amplifies these consequences of both this insight and error. So therefore, critical thinking, worldview, the means of knowledge, the subject of knowledge, all of these things have a very significant influence on what kind of an action or what kind of a decision that we actually take. So this is one of the famous, opinions or approaches that a famous business, one of the richest among in the globe has actually expressed that I tend to approach things from a physics framework, and physics teaches you to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. Can you guess who this person was? And this approach has actually, I would say, it has changed the whole approach towards aerospace.
Raman, Sir C.V. Raman.
Anyone who can guess who this person would be?
C.V. Raman.
Not that old, it is very recent. Yeah, he's Elon Musk. So because of this first principles approach, he says that he was able to think differently, and he changed the cost of, of a rocket actually by utilizing some alloys, not going with what was then very much used by the other aerospace agencies, and also then developed reusable rockets, which is now has become one of the aspirations for all the other aerospace players. And recently, if we can see, last week or so, China has come up with its own method of reusable rockets. So this first principles approach is something that comes from his critical thinking ability, that he was able to go to the foundations and think about first principles and then come up with an alternative which was so totally different, which was actually path breaking in that particular area of research. And the same person, so the previous opinion actually shows the importance of critical thinking. And this, opinion of his comes from a worldview, and it plays a vital role in setting up what he set up. He says that life and consciousness may be extraordinarily rare, and we need to do everything possible to ensure that the light of consciousness is not extinguished. So this is a very foundational idea or aspiration, I would say, for him to set up what he set up. And in the opening, ceremony of his, space agency called SpaceX, he said this, that one path will be we stay on Earth forever, and there will be an eventual extinction event. An alternative is become a spacefaring civilization and a multi-planet species. So this is where you can echo with the same idea that was picturized in the movie called Interstellar. So he thinks that this planet is not enough. This is going to get extinct. So therefore, our life and consciousness, as I said, because we do not live forever, but the life and consciousness is something that we need to carry forward. So therefore, it is very much important for us to secure them and ensure that the life is not extinguished. So therefore, he proposes an alternative or as a solution to this problem is that we should become spacefaring civilization. This is where you see this obsession towards colonizing Mars, because Earth is not going to be habitable, and all other ideas and all this space exploration, whatever he's doing. These are some of the foundational ideas that he has, based on which you see that there is a whole different approach towards technology. And this shows how worldview and critical thinking plays a vital role in whatever decisions that we make. So therefore, this idea, these both, the impact of critical thinking and worldview, has created this outcome called SpaceX, which is now one of the path-breaking agencies in aerospace industry. So therefore, then comes the question of how worldviews are formed. So what is a worldview? That it's a knowledge that you have around the world that you are within. Then comes the question that then knowledge becomes the the mediator between you and the world. So therefore, it is very much important to know how this knowledge is being generated, what are the sources of this knowledge, and how do you know whether this is a valid or not, this knowledge is valid or not. So are there any other methods in which we do know, so on and so forth. So Nyaya Shastra plays a vital role in defining it. It's called as Pramana Shastra. So it helps us understanding how these systems are that we actually utilize. We know that we experience the outcome, but it is not essential that we know the process. We all experience knowledge. I'm speaking and you're all able to understand. But how is this actually possible? How is this happening? What is the process that is going into this words actually communicating and leading towards knowledge? How is this happening? Is there any process that can be defined? So these all are some of the topics that are dealt in Nyaya. So we talked about VUCA in the world, then we can also relate it with the knowledge problem. Volatility, the question it creates that what remains reliable when conditions change related to volatility. And how do we decide when information is incomplete about uncertainty? Which causes and systems are interacting? So this is about complexity. So that is why which nodes are actually there, which is causing which. So the cause and effect, you have two nodes and you need to know how these both are actually interacting. And in a complex situation, there may be multiple nodes. So therefore, it will be very hard for us to actually determine which is causing which. And then which interpretation best explains the same data. So if you cannot actually determine, then ambiguity is the outcome. So therefore, it is not essential that if there is better technology, it will produce better judgment. Rather, we see now that we have good technology, but it is only creating chaos. How many of us in this room would have, would have wanting to watch something on Netflix and have scrolled through Netflix for half an hour and got tired and then just left without watching anything. So I think I have some takers here. So we all experienced that. So now we are actually having this, explosion of information. It's become so overloaded that previously creating reports was very tedious task. Now it is only with a prompt you get any report which is full of words, filled with words, running into multiple pages with the details. It has become so annoying at times to see detailed report because we all know that it is being generated by AI. So therefore we think that creating all of these kinds of reports or strategies and etc. would help us in better judgment, but it is only leading towards more chaos. So therefore, it is not essential that whatever better technologies are emerging would every time help us in one way or the other. Because if the user does not have the the expertise or the skill to extract what he or she wants, it will become a burden to the user. So therefore, however the technology may emerge, we remain the same. Our systems inside remain the same. So therefore, it is very much essential, whether it is an engineer or not, to first know how we as humans function. So that will change the approach that we have towards whatever the outer entities are, such as technology or gadgets. So what are the, as we all had a similar the same thing in the previous session also. What are the future ready competencies that are listed out in one of the this survey that shows growing popular jobs? It's talking about analytical and critical thinking, resilience and adaptability, leadership and social influence, all of these elements. And to achieve all of these competencies, one needs to, be able to distinguish fact from interpretation, qualify claims, explain evidence, acknowledge uncertainty, disagree professionally. So these are all situations that students are going to face in their professional life. You'll be working with teams. You will not accept everything, whatever is being discussed. You may have to say no. You may have to disagree. But how do you do that without actually disrupting your relation with the other? And how do you validate? How do you analyze with this plethora of information that you are thrown at? So all of these things need skills which are not dependent on technology or other tools, but they're dependent on your own self. So therefore, Nyaya, which is one of the philosophical schools, which is very much centered around the idea of clear thinking, valid knowledge, reasoning, and validation of knowledge, whether there is a doubt or error, and examining of claims and their sources. So all of these things are some of the outcomes of what Nyaya Shastra teaches. And let us try to understand a few elements from Nyaya Shastra which can help us as individuals to hone our skills. So what is Nyaya? So Nyaya can be defined as a method of examining of how we know and whether a conclusion deserves acceptance or not. So it talks about how do we know, what are the means of knowledge, and that is why it is called as Pramana Shastra. And how do you validate what you know? And how do you define things? So definition making is one of the key aspects that is dealt in Nyaya Shastra. And obviously, it is also called as Vada Shastra. It talks about how debates, discussions can happen, what are the types of debates, what are the elements or the constituents that go into a debate, how to debate, and what are the approaches, different approaches towards conversations. Based on the approaches, how the strategy can actually differ, and so on and so on. So there comes Pramana, as I said, which talks about the means through which we acquire knowledge. So Pramana means a valid method or means through which knowledge is acquired. Pramiyate anena iti Pramana. So I don't want to actually get into the Sanskrit terms because I don't want to make it hard. So this is one of the examples. Right? The Wi-Fi is bad. How do you know that? Or even before that, let me ask you a question. Is there electricity in your room, in the room that you are sitting? How do you know it?
All the working.
Sorry?
All electrical appliances are functioning.
We use a five senses to understand.
But here, are you experiencing the electricity?
Board, light.
Is this electricity? Is light electricity? Is electrical appliance electricity?
Yeah, conversion of electric energy to light energy.
Yeah. So, but my fundamental question was, do you know that is there electricity in your room or not? You said yes. I'm asking that how did you come to that conclusion? What is through which means? What are the means through which you have come to that?
Yes.
So my distinction is whatever you are able to see through your senses is not electricity. Right? Am I right or wrong?
That is how we put this down, right?
That is the outcome of electricity. Right? So if the same light or the tube light or the fan that is there in your room, if they are not working, you say that there is no electricity. Right? So therefore, the fan rotating or the light being, being luminous is not electricity. It is an outcome of electricity. So therefore, here if you see, coming to the conclusion of saying that there is electricity in this room is something called as inference. We're actually inferring that there is electricity in the room by the sign that all the electrical instruments are actually working. So similarly, if I have to say that, or someone says that the Wi-Fi is bad, how do you come to that conclusion?
Similarly,
Not able to send a message.
I'm not able to get the.
Sorry?
How do you understand the Wi-Fi is bad?
And there is interruption in internet connectivity.
Yeah, when my reels are not loading.
Because we all cannot see Wi-Fi, right? At least Wi-Fi we cannot see.
Sir, when we don't get the blue tick, when there's only
Yeah,
one
it
tick.
can. If my screen is stuck, then you know that Wi-Fi is bad, right? When I'm talking, if the screen is stuck or my voice is not heard, then you say that Wi-Fi is bad. Wi-Fi is not working, right? So therefore, there is something that is directly known. There is something that is being inferred, and what else could be the reason for this outcome? So these are a few examples that in our day-to-day life where we can see that many a times we are experiencing the outcome, but not essential that we know the whole process. It may be instantaneous for us. Yes, I think someone has raised their hand. Yeah,
Roland,
I would request to
No.
kindly please be a bit loud because I'm not.
so it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
You gave an example for what is being inferred. Electricity. What is directly known?
Yeah,
can
what
you
is directly known? Directly know the light. You can directly experience the wind. You can directly hear my voice.
Okay.
So all of these things are something that you can directly know. Okay. So there are things that you are actually inferring. And in the same example, at the current situation, I'm talking and you are all understanding. How is this happening? What is the means through which you are understanding this? It is very near to you all.
Voice.
It's language, right? We're all language, like faculty of English, right? So it's language. If I just change the language, again you all cannot understand, right? If I switch from from English to Telugu or Sanskrit, again it will become some gibberish to you, right? So how is this happening? The idea, I mean, the meaning is the same, right? Your comprehension is the same, but it is just that the medium has changed, right? And how is this happening? I'm speaking and you are able to understand. How is this happening? If Shashi Parur starts speaking, a person like me has to refer to a dictionary, right? So what is all this? How is this happening? Is there a process? Have you ever thought about it?
There's a part of brain that works and translates whatever being said into thoughts. The language is transformed.
Yeah. How is that? What can you define the process? So I'm just asking this thing, curious question only. It is only to just ignite the idea that there are many things in our day-to-day life that we actually experience or utilize the outcomes, but probably not even know the problems because that is not part of our study. It is as simple as this. Right? So, Nyaya Shastra is that Shastra which actually one of the key elements of Nyaya Shastra is to explore these aspects. What is the process of inference? How do you actually understand through words? What is the process over there? how do you validate? Okay, there is a very famous advertisement on smoking. The idea of the advertisement is to convey that to not smoke. But the advertisement states that smoking cures cancer.
You will die earlier.
It says smoking cures cancer in a satirical way.
You won't get cancer. You won't get that flower.
The word cures, it is not towards the direct meaning of what cure means. It is alluded towards something else. That it kills a person who has cancer, or it kills a person, kind of a thing. So therefore, if there is no personal life, there is no cancer at all. So if you smoke, you will be dead. Good that you will not have cancer. Something an idea like this. So every time it's not that words convey the direct meaning. They may have some other intended meaning which is conveyed indirectly. So how is this all possible? There is satire. If you come to, even in our vernacular languages, we do have something that, you satirically use a few words which do mean something else. If you say I'm going, it means that I'm not going at times, right? So in that way, there is tonality. There are many other aspects to to it. So therefore, these are all the means of knowledge for us. So how do we approach them and etc. See, these are all some of the elements that are discussed and explored in Nyaya Shastra. So therefore, how do you know that there is no Wi-Fi or the Wi-Fi is bad? It is because it could be that the screen has frozen twice. So it is an observation that you have done through your sensory organs, and therefore you infer that the Wi-Fi is bad. Or you could also come to a conclusion that there could be other elements which can actually result in the freezing of the screen. It is not every time that Wi-Fi will only cause, or bad Wi-Fi will cause the screen to freeze. It could be that your operating system could have gone obsolete or outdated, so that it's not all functioning. So there can be many other reasons also. In that case, this inference of because of bad Wi-Fi the screen has frozen is not right. So therefore, how do you validate your decision or your conclusion of the Wi-Fi is bad can also be at times wrong. So how do you validate that? So what all could the means be in validating this? So these kinds of elements we can actually derive from Jnana. So there are 6 principal methods through which we acquire knowledge. 4 are listed in Nyaya Shastra. So it identifies 4, and other epistemological traditions accept 2 in addition to them. So the first one is direct observation through your sensory organ. The second one is inference. The third one is comparison. The fourth one is reliable testimony, that is through language. The fourth one is postulation. The fifth one is knowledge through absence. So these are 6 means through which we can acquire knowledge. So there is this example that there is no signal. So probably you may have come across, whether it could be your computer screens or your new Android TVs, smart TVs, and etc., where there can be this thing called no signal. So what is it that is directly visible for you is one thing. What possible causes would follow these signs? Have we encountered a similar failure previously or not? Which manual or expert should we consult? What hidden condition could explain the contradiction? And what expected indicator is missing? So all of these things can be related to this particular example, right? You are able to see. What are you able to see? You are able to see a no sign, where the whole screen is not showcasing anything, right? So this is what triggering your inference about some connection missing, or you can have your experience kick in, that it may have happened to you for the first time sometime in the past, so that you can relate it to say that last time also the same thing has happened. So now it has also happened. So I'm able to correlate it. So therefore there is some problem. This kind of problem could have been there. So then what to do next? You will either go to a manual of that particular device or would try to call an expert for a solution to this problem. And there could be some hidden problems which we may not know because we are not technical experts. And there could be some other also expected indicator that is missing. That is actually that you are not able to see what you are desiring of. So therefore, there can be many things that we can relate to this one simple example. And I will probably use only this example in the future also to maintain the coherence. So the direct observation, which is the first means of knowledge, is called as pratyaksha. I'll only use this term. I'll not go into the details of it. So what is pratyaksha? It is the knowledge arising through what is directly seen, what is directly heard, what can be directly measured, what can be directly recorded, what can be directly detected under suitable conditions. Because if you have to perceive something, right? If you want to see the flower vase that is there in front of you, you need light. In darkness, you cannot see, even though your eyes are working. You need other, supporting, elements also. So therefore, what is pratyaksha? Pratyaksha is that through which that knowledge, which is acquired through the five sensory organs that we have: the eyes, nose, tongue, skin, and ears, right? Which is color, taste, smell, touch, and sound. These are five fundamental things that we can know, and also the absence of all these five, right? Is there a white color on the sofa that you are sitting? You say no, right? It is only possible for you to say no if you know what is white color, and you may have experienced it in some other object. Because of that, you are able to say that there is no white color on this sofa. So if I have to say the LED is off, then it would be that there's an observation through your sensory organs that it is off. The interpretation of it can be that probably the board is dead. That means the lights may not work if there is any problem inside the board. So therefore, this shows the limitation of the sensory organs. You can only know whether when the subject that can be perceived through that organ is existing. You can only know if the light is existing, if the light is there. You cannot know without the existence of the subject, right? So in the previous example where we discussed whether there is electricity in the room or not, is what is the limitation of our sensory organs is that we can only know whether the light is there or not, whether the fan is rotating or not, whether the wind is being felt by us or not. So this is the limitation of our sensory organ. So therefore, this sensory organ cannot determine whether there is electricity or not. We are coming to the conclusion through other means of knowledge, but not by only sensory organs. That is pratyaksha.
What are the?
Then comes anumana, that is inference. So what is inference or anumana? It is reasoning from a sign, right? A conclusion that is reached from an observed sign, a recognized pattern or relation, a reason connecting the sign to the conclusion. We can take the existence of electricity only. It is an observed sign. What is the sign in that in this example? It is the lights working or the electrical gadgets that are working. The light is on, the fan is rotating. All of these are signs. And there is a pattern that you have observed, pattern or relation. Whenever the fan is rotating or whenever the light is on, it means that there is electricity. So the two nodes, the outcome of light or fan's rotation and the existence of electricity, these both have a pattern and have a recognized relation. Because of that, you are able to come to the conclusion that there is electricity in the room. So this is inference. So there is a there is something called as CPU bottleneck in the engineering case, where there is a lot of storage and memory that has to be processed through the GPU, but the CPU's capacity is very low. So this will cause to slow down of the system. So this slowdown of the system is something that you are able to perceive, the sign, through which you can actually probably infer that the storage and the memory are working, but still as the speed is not as expected, that means that the capacity of the CPU is low than it needs to be. So therefore, you will come to this conclusion that there is this resource bottleneck is existing, and therefore we can take a decision that suits the scenario. And the third means of knowledge is comparison or upamana. Upamana is that through which understanding through relevant similarity is achieved. So an unfamiliar idea that becomes intelligible through comparison with similar, something familiar or similar, like cloud computing and electricity grid. Electricity grid is something that we can actually see outside. See that there is a power station which actually distributes electricity through wires, through poles, and etc. And when we talk about cloud computing is also similar to that, but it is something that we outside as normal people cannot actually perceive it. So when I have to explain a topic called cloud computing about the networking, then probably this example of electricity grid may help the student to understand the concept of cloud computing. In a similar way, the API or application programming interface is similar to a menu card in a restaurant. So it has all the things that is available, which you can use as per your, that means you can order as per your taste. In the API, you will have all the plugins that are available, and according to your need, you can choose which to use and which not to use. Similarly, there is something called as network routing, which can be compared to the traffic routing that happens. So in order to maintain uniformity or to evade chaotic scenario on the roads, we have traffic rerouting. We have lots of U-turns. I think Chennai also has many U-turns now, or one ways, and the no traffic signals and all of that stuff, like Hyderabad has. So therefore, this is all something similar. If I have to compare it with traffic routing, it will be easy for us to communicate or know the concept of network routing. So there also you have multiple switches. You use those according to the traffic of the network, of the data that is being actually passing through. So this is about comparison. Then comes testimony. So knowledge that is acquired through a qualified source. Qualified source in the sense there is what is called as apta in the Shastra terminology. So like if you want to know whether you are ill or not, you will not go to an engineer, but you go to a doctor. If you want to build a home, you will not go to a doctor, but to a civil engineer. If you want to design your home, you will not go to some mechanical engineer, but you will go to an architect. So why do you do this? Because there are reliable sources. You will rely on what they say. So that is in the similar way, a valid knowledge acquired through reliable sources, that is also through language or words, can be called as Shabda Praman, where you know things to be true through reliable sources, words. So here we can engineers, in engineering which depends on information communicated through data sheets or standards or verified research, you can take any of these. So all of these can be considered to be as valid source of knowledge through words or language. Then comes postulation, that is arthabhakti, finding the hidden condition. That is, a classical experience example would be there is some X who is actually fit, who is fit and healthy, but no one ever sees him eating in the morning time. And in the night time, he is not seen to anyone. He is confined to his room. So no one ever saw him eating at all. So what do you conclude is that probably he is eating in the night when we are all not able to see him. That is why he is able to be fit and healthy. So this is a classical example that we normally give for a carbon. Here we can give another example where, like that where there is a pattern, like fact A is accepted, fact B is also accepted, but there is some inconsistency. Something hidden can be known through this. How there is a guy who is taking home assignments more, and his difficulty in the office is not able to code, as he should actually do, but he says that his all the home taken assignments are very much good. The output is good, but he is not able to code when he is working in the office. So these both actually facts are accepted. That fact A, that he is taking more home assignments, is accepted, and repeatedly we are able to see that he is having difficulty in live coding. So what do you determine through this? That there is someone else in his home who is actually coding, who is good at coding, right? So there are two facts, and those two facts will lead to another truth. So that is postulation or artha. And then we have the knowledge knowing through expected absence, right? That is anupalabdhi. When absence itself becomes meaningful, when there is something that should be present, the conditions of detecting it are adequate, it is nevertheless not detected, right? I'll give you an example of the current scenario itself. Is there a white sofa in the room that you're all sitting? Is there a white sofa? No, there is no white sofa. So how are you coming to this conclusion? It is because if at all there could be a white sofa, you could have seen it, right? And there are all the conditions apart from the existence of the white sofa, which are very much necessary for you to determine that there is no white sofa. Right? You're able to see the black sofa, you're able to see red chairs because they're all existing there. And there are supporting conditions within which you are able to actually perceive all of this. So therefore, as you're not able to see a white sofa, and as there are all the other conditions which are needed in perceiving a white sofa, as you are not able to experience or see a white sofa, therefore you are coming to a conclusion that there is no white sofa. So this is also one way of knowing. So the same for an engineering example could be that there is no sensor signal. In the same no signal this thing, you can see that there is nothing that is being passed to it. So therefore there is no signal being passed. So that is why there is nothing that we are able to see on the screen. If we are able to see on the screen, then all the other things are there. That means all the supporting conditions are there. Despite which, if you are not able to see the outcome, therefore you determine that there is no signal. So there are these kinds of ways through which we know, means of knowing. So that is direct observation, inference, comparison, reliable testimony, explanatory postulation, and evidence from absent. And the core questions are also enumerated here, which they actually address. Is this, comprehensive? Are you able to follow until now? Thereafter, we just cover slightly on the Vada. So until now, we've covered something called as Pramana. And hereafter, there is a small this thing that we will cover about Vada. All of these things again are important for anyone because they are all means of knowledge. And then, as we are all social beings, we will be with people around us. There will be scenarios where we may have to communicate or debate or differ. So, how do we do that coherently? So therefore, this pramana, this helps us to ask how is this claim known? But they also, the other problems in day-to-day life also involve competing explanations, different areas of expertise. So therefore, there is a lot that you have to do while you are actually with others, working with others. You may have to differ, you may have to discuss, you may have to discover. So there will be a lot of things that happen. So in all of that, what kind of communication or what kind of exchange of ideas can happen and how that process could be. So therefore, Nyaya also examines the governing aim of dialogue also. It is called as Katha. The classification of Katha is three ways. One is Vada, the second one is Jalpa, and the third one is Vitanda. So what is Vada? Vada is examining a question together. When you want to know an essence or the truth of any particular topic which has contradictions, there the kind of discussion that happens is termed as Vada. When there is a defending position, in order to win, when the objective is only about winning and not about seeking truth, then the method and strategy that is used is called as Jalpa. And when the whole purpose is only about attacking the other person without offering an alternative viewpoint, is called as Vitanda. So these are three types of debates, dialogues. So therefore, the evidence that will be there is not going to change. What changes is what are the people actually trying to do with it. If we see in a court, the evidence may be the same, but the interpretation or how those evidences are used by the advocates of the rivalry parties, they differ based on the objective and the kind of approach that the judge has towards determining the truth also differs. So what is Vada? Vada is a constructive and truth-oriented dialogue in which participants state their positions clearly and they offer evidence and reasons also, and both examine their positions and also the opponent's position, that is the counterclaim, and represent the other positions fairly, because there is no point of ego, because the whole approach is towards finding the truth, and accept the valid criticism because it is about truth. If there is some inconsistency in one's own viewpoint, they accept it because they are not here for any ego. If they are only here to know the truth, they are here to seek the truth. So therefore, if there is any constructive criticism, they accept it and revise when stronger evidence emerges. So these are some of the traits of Vada. So there can be a scenario of the same example of no signal that is being seen on the screen, where a hardware student says that there is an absence of sensor signal suggests that the sensor may have failed. A software student would say that that is also possible, but the missing log entry could also mean that the software has never read the signal itself. Then the evidence-seeking student would say, let us test the sensor on the known ground good board and inspect the wiring and compare the result with the datasheet specification. And then the other student says that if the sensor works independently, I will revise my explanation. So therefore, they are ready to mend their ways. They are ready to come to the conclusion, or they want to make the screen work in one way we have to. So there is no hard feelings, or there is no harsh language that is being used. There is no and there is even acceptance. If there is any shortcoming, there is an acceptance. There is a tendency to accept if there is any shortcoming. If you have to see what's happening here, again, the evidence through the means of knowledge, pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, sapatti, anuparatti, they are all being used here. Through pratyaksha, they are knowing that there is no signal, so on and so forth. So therefore, they are using all of the means of knowledge to come to a conclusion of why that particular outcome is actually there on the screen, and they again want to mend it. Then the second type of dialogue, which is Jalpa, which is it's a debate in which both sides hold and defend their positions. But the governing aim here, it shifts towards victory from seeking truth. So the whole objective is to achieve an upper hand over the opponent, right? So therefore, here also all the reasoning, all the pramanas, everything will be used, but they will be aimed towards one's own victory. And evidence can be selected, selected with a prerogative of strengthening one's own side. So they don't want to pick those things which will actually again have a problem with for their own side. And everything can be tactical there. So they can actually manipulate words, they can manipulate arguments, they can do many other things. Everything is because they want to achieve victory over the other. So in the same scenario, a hardware student can say he will throw the ball or towards the software student, right? Saying that it is your hardware is correct, it must be your code that must have failed. And the software guy would say that no, my simulation worked very hard, very much, so therefore something is missing on the hardware part. And therefore the whole conversation is all about saying that my this thing is right and something could have happened in your side, on your side. So therefore the whole approach here differs on the same example. So therefore the same evidence is present, but the whole approach has actually changed. The tactics that has been used, they have been changed. So therefore the whole approach or aim is towards achieving victory or upper hand upon the counterpart. Then comes Vitanda, where there is no explanation from one side, it's only one way attacking the other. So the refutation only argument. You only are determined to refute. Whatever they say is wrong, like the opposition parties today. There is no constructive criticism that happens. Whatever the other party says should be wrong. And the whole approach is like that only. And it attacks another person's proposition, position, and it avoids stating a defensible counterposition. It says only that you are wrong. It will not say what is right. So that is the whole approach towards Vitanda. In the same explanation, the example, the student could say that the censor explanation is wrong. He will not say what is right. Then the teacher could have asked what alternative cause do you propose. Then he will say, I only know that the censor is wrong. So therefore, he is not interested in proposing what could have caused this outcome, but is only there interested in saying that this particular thing that has been proposed by the teacher could have been wrong. So this is the whole approach here. So we've seen the three kinds of kinds of dialogue, where the aim or the whole objective of each and every kind of dialogue is different. Like the governing aim of Vada would be to understanding and refinement, that is seeking truth. Jalpa's main approach is winning the dispute, and Vitanda is to defeat the other position and to not state one's own position. So all of these things help us in actually identifying at times how debates are, which kind of a dialogue that we are in, how to pivot to Vada from Jalpa, or to determine whether it is a vitanda to how to just discontinue that discussion or dialogue. So, and to make sure that probably ideally we engage in vada rather than jalpa. But it is not that in probably in some competitions we may have to adhere to jalpa principles also. So all of this, if we see from the beginning, the worldview, it influences what becomes visible to us. The pramanas, they help us to examine how we know and examine it. And critical thinking, it calibrates our conclusion through logical and other means, logic and other means. And then coming to the engineering scenario, it converts that conclusion gets into action and forms something new that would help. And that would help us through good or bad consequences. Actually. Therefore, again, coming back to the main question of whether this is going to help us get any job or not. Therefore, it can definitely help, the student to become a kind of engineer that people can trust, because his or her training in the Pramana Shastra or Vada Shastra would actually make him observe without this prematurely interpreting, infer without overstating, compare without ignoring, consult sources, explain contradictions, recognize what is missing, and act only as strongly as the available evidence for. So therefore, it creates a very holistic personality by getting trained in these aspects. So with this closing statement, that creating or building building a what you call a reliable person, it is more important, which is actually very much needed, which will help one in their personal and professional pursuit. So therefore, it is not only about whether these knowledge systems are only going to lead to something that gives them some job opportunities or limited to that, but it is more beyond that, which helps in actually creating a holistic personality which contributes to the well-being of the human. Yadatra Saustavam Kinchit, Tat Gurureva Menahi, Yadatra Saustavam Kinchit, Tandamayeva Mevo. If there is any virtue in my presentation that belongs to my groups, if there is any shortcoming that belongs to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that presentation. Now, I'll just ask the floor if there are any questions. Any questions, participants?
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, when you were talking about this, what to say, I mean, a debate, Vada from Anupalapta, my question is like, is it wrong to use any kind of particular discussions or debates, say, for example, Jalpa, where you said, like, Jalpa is generally used only for defending, where victory is the main concern of it, right? Not based on the evidence. So, is it right to use such kind of, Jalpa?
Yeah. At scenarios, it is to be used. Like if you take any court, right? So if you see the responsibilities of a lawyer, it is not the responsibility of the lawyer to bring out the truth. The responsibility of a lawyer is to make sure that his client is victorious. So therefore, in those scenarios, definitely Jalpa is the way. And when we have even debate competitions, so where there is a bit of smart work that is to be done, obviously Jalpa helps a lot. The idealistic approach would be Vada, but it is not essential that every time Vada would be approachable.
So you mean to say that we need to take it based on the context and scenario?
Context, yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Just one question. எனக்கு ரொம்ப தெரியாது. I don't know much, but I'm asking this question. For instance, the Anupalapti. In Anupalabdhi, when we talk about the Parabrahma Swarupam, they talk of it as na, not this, not that, not this, not that. So it's a definition by the series of negatives. Not this is that, but this is not this, it is not that also. It is not this, and it's not that. Will that fall into Anupalabdhi? Or is that something totally different? Because somewhere I heard it as connected to the neti. I'm mixing it. I'm mixing everything up.
Neti.
Hmm.
So, one way of knowing, I mean, it is one way, what you call, you're halfway through by, this deduction, right? This is not this, this is not this, this is not this. But the same sources also determine what is it. So you have the navy, approach towards knowing. That is, you remove whatever it is not, and then whatever emerges or whatever exists is what it is. That is one way of determining. And the same sources also give you what it is. So to know a pot as a pot is one way of knowing a pot. To know a pot as not as cloth is also knowing it. So both, it is halfway through knowing what a pot is.
So is that my also question is that connected to the Anupalabdhi?
Yeah, Anupalabdhi.
It is a facet
Similarly,
of
I would say, because those are a bit philosophical approaches. But in our day-to-day life, what happens in Anupalabdhi is you need all the other supporting elements also, factors. As I said, in this particular room, you have all the supporting elements to know a white sofa. Only then you can say that there is no white sofa. Right? If there is no light, if there is no ground, then you cannot say that if there could be a sofa, then I could know it. So therefore, you need all the other elements also to determine through Anupalabdhi. But in that case, the Parabrahman which you are talking is not at all cognizable through your senses at all. So there is a fundamental difference of the nature of the subject which we are dealing with.
Okay. Another question. You might have already answered this and I might have missed it. So just request a little patience. So now, if I'm supposed to teach Anupalabdhi to students, say I'm using a poem or whatever, can you give me an example that I can use in class?
The same example of white soap.
Mhm.
What are all the objects that are not present before you? That are not present.
Sorry, I think I have to study a little more before it kind of sinks in. I still.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Yeah. So one way is that, and that is why the Nyaya school of thought, it actually merges Anupalabdhi into Pratyaksha only. So
Okay.
through which you know that particular object, you also know the actions of that particular object through that sense organ only. If you are able to see a sofa through your eyes,
You're not
and
able to see
through
it.
eyes only, you'll also see the absence of the sofa.
Okay.
So this is one way of
Looking at it.
explaining.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we have time? Question? Yeah. Namaste. I have one question. You earlier spoke about dharma. Okay, let's take the case of this lawyer defending a criminal. Okay, how does Indian knowledge system or the general things look at that? If there is an ethical dilemma there, right? If there is an ethical conflict, how can we explain this in the class? Because we handle students who consider copying as their birthright. No, I'm not even kidding, it's true. So when that happens, how do you tell them from a dharma viewpoint? If I say dharma, he's going to laugh at my face. How do I explain that?
See, one thing that we have to understand is that now whatever the jurisprudence is available, it is not a Bharatiya jurisprudence. So it is a system that is totally Eurocentric. So the current jurisprudence, whatever we are having. So therefore, we cannot equate it with the Bharatiya jurisprudence that was once existing. Coming to the method, as you know, we have now seen. Coming to the method, we can only take how logic can be used for seeking truth, and also the same logic can be used without a proper, ethical approach. It also can be twisted. That is what normally we see in the jurisprudence area that people do. You take a act, you take a law, and you try to twist it as much as possible, interpret it as much as possible, in a way which actually suits your, proposition. So there, if you want to dissect the whole, interpretation, then comes Mimamsa, Nyaya, and all of these in order to validate whether that interpretation is right or not. Because the current day jurisprudence or the current day law, which we are actually following, is not based on the IPS law. So where IPS can be introduced or be utilized is on how you can interpret this. Because you do not have a robust interpretative science which is greater than Mimamsa Shastra that has been accepted by the scholars of jurisprudence itself. So that is where these kinds of frameworks and scenarios can actually help us in application of the IKS elements can be done.
Sir, there is no white sofa here.
Sorry, I think it's muted.
There is no white sofa here. That is Anuplabdhi. Anuplabdhi, right? There is no white sofa here. Can't I use Pratyaksha for this, which is observation? Now, how will I differentiate Pratyaksha from Anuplabdhi to a student? I want to say that in simple terms. So, is Anuplabdhi used only for observing the non-existence?
Yes. That is the only differentiator.
Okay, so I can say we do not have a foreigner in this room. That's
So
Anuplabdhi.
only the knowledge of non-existence is the sole outcome of Anuplabdhi.
So whatever I observe is the fact, comes under Pratyaksha, and what does not exist, my observation of what does not exist comes under Anuplabdhi. Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir. I think, may I go with the question? Yes. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, sir, being very practical, as you just said in the closing time of the previous session itself, that we'll be understanding the practical applications of using Indian knowledge system. When I just tried to compare the same thing, I'm just continuing with what Madam just did, Pratyaksha Praman and Anupalabdhi. When I'm able to make my student understand about what is existent, why is it that I want to look into what is absent? The logic gets over there. He or she is going to become an engineer by experiments, right? They're all going to have empirical study, unlike us, because all of us actually go with literary analysis. Maybe when I teach them a poetry.
Is life, functions without the knowledge of non-existence of things? They need to know what is existing, they also need to determine what is not existing, right?
At what point of time, could you please give me an example by which, I can incorporate that in my class? In what way I can?
Okay, as I've given the example of no signal, right?
Okay.
When there is a no signal, coming on your screen, what is non-existing there?
There's no signal. Simple as that.
No signal is something you are able to perceive. What is not existing is actually the signal. You are not able to see the signal, right?
All right, sir. But it is with the evidence that we are not able to look into it that we are getting it now. So, which means that sensory organ.
That is where validation process comes in, right?
Okay.
Where you check in what is all this diagnostic being done by the technical, you say you have something called as run diagnostics, right?
Okay.
What is the diagnostics tool doing actually? It is trying to determine why this particular outcome has emerged. What is the cause for this particular outcome, right? So you're not able to, as we said, there is no Wi-Fi, right? What all reasons could be for not having Wi-Fi?
Okay, to figure out the reasons.
what all reasons can be. So first of all, you need to determine that there is no Wi-Fi. Then you say that, okay, what is causing this non-existence of Wi-Fi? It could be electricity, it could be some wire may have cut, some optical fiber may have been done, or some other networking system may is not working. There could be many other reasons. So first of all, your understanding of that there is no existence of Wi-Fi itself is the starting point for your inquiry.
All right, all right. Okay, so thank you.
Uh, yes, so with this we are winding up. Sir, to put it in literal terms, தெரியல இதை நான் சொல்லலாமான்னு. எனக்கு என்ன தெரியலன்னு எனக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் தெரியாது. ஓகேவா? அப்பதான் எனக்கு சொல்ல முடியும் இதெல்லாம் எனக்கு தெரியாது அப்படின்னு. So I feel the entire session is like ரொம்ப சிம்பிள் வேர்ட்ஸ்ல எனக்கு என்ன தெரியாதுன்னு எனக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் தெரியணும்னு எனக்கு தோணிட்டு. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you so much for briefing us on lot of concepts. It's like நீங்க ஆரம்பிக்கச்சே you said Sanskrit அப்படினா இல்லாம other than that something which is Indian, something which is very much Indian, many of us are still we are not aware of what all belongs to an Indian. Yes. And one more thing, today there's a big shout out to our the Indian nation, because we have launched Vikram 1, a private orbit, ours alone. Yes, and there's a status from one of the ISRO members who's worked in the team. She has mentioned it as it is purely indigenous work. So we, on this day, when we talk about IKS, we have someone who's put a status stating that it is indigenous thought process which has made Vikram 1 a wonderful launch. So we are very happy to share that too. And now I invite Dr. Padma Priya, the Associate Professor from Department of LCS, to thank the guest. I called her because she was taking so much of notes and so inquisitive. So,
Namaste. Shouldn't I look at it? Thank you. Yeah. Namaste. It is a great session. For one thing, as Ramya just now told, when I read through the notes, I had a lot of words, Pramana, Pratiksha, and all those. I was clueless. And this is like the light at the end of tunnel. I know nothing. Okay, I'm going to actively see what I need to know. And there is again this gap between what I get to know and what I can take to the students, resonate to the students. அது பெரிய சேலஞ்சா இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன் எல்லாருக்குமே. We'll work on it. Thanks for the input. We started as a clean slate. We have a lot of doodles now. We'll make them into wonderful work of art finally, hopefully. Thank you. Great session.
there was also one question from the participant that will they be getting the PPT from your end? Will it be possible to share, sir, the PowerPoint slides?
Which was my PPT, right?
Yes. Is it
Yeah, I'll
possible?
be sharing it.
Yeah, you can share it with either Kavita ma'am or yes. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, so
Thank you.
we are just logging off from online session. Yes. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
Thank you.
Participants, we have a break now for 10 minutes. Tea and snacks, refreshments are there in the opposite room. You can have that and come back. We have an interaction. The earlier you join, we'll have the interaction and then the vote of thanks and report. That I just finished within 2 minutes, but the interaction might take time. So please come back at the earliest. We wind up the session maximum by 4:30. It all depends upon the time when you're written.
the workshop looks like. So the knowledge was so much that there's no space. People had to be there. Hashish, how are all of you? Great. I was just telling somebody that whether it's a 2-day or a 5-day or a 6-day or a 15-day workshop, the last day looks like this. Yes, so I do not want to have any lecture here. There is a lot to talk. There is so much I prepared on everything. If you look at my laptop, it is just slides and tabs open on everything. So there's a lot to talk, but I don't want to again get into some session on, because you already have today enough from morning. So I just want you to see, most of it are my faculty, in the sense KTI faculty, and 2 from Vadaparani. Okay, representatives from Trichy and Ramapuram, right? Okay, there's another person from Trichy. Okay. So I just want you to, I hope you should have had an opportunity to at least browse through this together. So if you have anything to say, I have lots to say, but I want from your side any. Yes, Mumbai. Okay. Oh, very good evening to NC colleagues at NCI campus too. So the question here from Dr. Pungudi is that she's worried about how the assessments will be. This was a worry that we had in the last 2 years, that assessments are not uniform across the campus, and if there is more clarity on assessments, it will be great. So how many of you did go through the rubrics there on the
50% internal and 50% summative.
So what are the rubrics there?
We need a 2-day workshop on this.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದಿಲ್ಲ rubrics here
syllabus, the handout it is there.
இதுலயும் இருக்கு.
Handout is there.
So we'll written as 15%, 15. You want to have a look at
47.
here it is.
Please turn to page number 46, 47.
Yeah,
Okay.
page 47.
Assessments, yeah. Hinge. So, if you look at page number 42, assessment rubrics. Please turn to page number 42. Sir, you do not have a copy? If you do not have, please share with the next person, please. This is about how to mark questions on this. Earlier in one of the meetings with the HODs, we had decided, we actually wanted a question bank, at least a small, directive on how to phrase questions. I have put it together. I will send it as a soft copy. The soft copy to all the HODs, which can be further discussed among the faculty members, and then decided what kind of questions, how we see. This is the first time this kind of a syllabus is going, so I understand very much, just like you, because since I also from the same background, okay, I know the whatever in your mind is growing or seeding, so I know that. So I thought somebody from Delhi campus. Yes, so since this is being a new kind of an experiment, if we can call, we will have small, troubles. We will have. So before that, I want all of you to have at least maximum, please familiarize yourself, become friends with the syllabus, guys. Please become friends with the syllabus, friends with the texts. you will know what is to be done. Now, what happened in the last session? Tell me. What? See, today's session was just to get a familiarity on what exactly IKS is. What does it, how does it perceive to, integrate into the knowledge systems, the current knowledge system. And Pramana, tell me, what did you?
Vada, Jalpa.
Vad means what? Discussion, debate. How to do a debate, how to have facts for that. Then Vitanda, what is Vitanda?
Just trying to win, attacking the opponent.
Yes. You're not bothered about winning, you're bothered only about winning.
Not about the truth.
Not about what the facts or truths.
That is Jalpa. Jalpa is
Jalpa.
bothering about winning. Vitanda is just to attack the opponent.
Yeah, just to attack the opponent to win.
Yes.
You're not bothered about the other side, whether they live or die, whatever happens.
Yeah.
You just have to get your winning across. So these three things help you to develop your argument. And if you look at the society today or the way our children are growing up, if you look at the incidents around, what is happening? You just say something and they're just ready to destroy you. Not even one time they are thinking whether it will affect you or not, whether it will hurt you or not. That's how we are all developing. So most of the students are into the Vitanda category.
Yeah.
We have to bring them into VAR. And India as a country is known for VAR. Dialogues, how to build the dialogues. See, now we have set up a floor and floor is not enough. Now we have to look at how to build it. So for that, building up is what I need all your support to go through the syllabus, how to build things. There is some material on Pramana, all these things, all Vada, Vitanda and Pramana is there. I'll share the soft copy with you. Please spend some time with that. And we'll also have another session on this at the end of August. We've already decided and fixed the person for that. So after over 2 weeks of class, and once you've gone a little more closer with the syllabus, we'll have one more discussion as to how to, proceed with the rest of the things. And in a way, when we prepare for students, we also get prepared ourselves for a debate with anybody. So I think first we have to become learners of these concepts, and then to start teaching. All of us are learners, including me. All of us are learning and experiencing this, because a few months back only we came to know that this kind of concepts are there, which will help you and make your side of arguments strong, which people cannot actually placate in any way of destroying yours.
But we need to prepare elaborately and very confident.
But there's nothing really, it's not that, as a teacher, you don't go stand there as all knowing. I told you, it's not that. Just put few perspectives in front of the students. Let them also, ask them to submit something, give them a writing on Pramana, ask them to go read and come. Have some, intro before you start discussion. So you'll get perspectives from them also. Please don't look at me, it's not, don't become nervous, don't be nervous, it's not. It is ours. So before we go, we need to know our child better, yes or no?
Yeah.
So know that. And then have a discussion with the students. So discussion with faculty members in your department, have a discussion with all of them. So, okay.
I have an idea of the Vedic thing was good.
And as a teacher, I think the material is more important and the way you teach is more important than what you are teaching, okay? Please don't just be bothered about certain terms which are there as language. Any language, in the sense, yes, though certain words are in Sanskrit, try to understand why it is there. What is the concept behind it? So, don't just stop yourself before, getting to know what is there under that. there is see the first, if you can go through the SLOs, SLO, the first 12 SLOs, please go through them.
Do you want to share?
You know, please, and there is, please do not differentiate between syllabus or these SLOs. Whatever is there is being put here. Maybe some places or the way it is put is different. Certain things from the syllabus might not be there. Please don't bother about it. Please follow this. Follow this SLO. These 12 under the first module. From SLO 1 till SLO 6. That is about purely English. Okay. So you have thinking fast and slow, the 9-mile walk. 9-mile walk has been part of earlier syllabus, I think 23-24. If you all remember, the short story was there. So I hope you all have read, because that is the best way you can teach how language can be used even to solve crimes. You must go through that short story. 9-mile walk is a mystery being solved just by language, through language. So please read that, because that is there in your first SLO 2. Practice. So in this week, please read these texts continuously, the short stories, the debunking, the main text that is debunking, thinking fast and slow. There is one on writing. I would like each department to please buy these books as a set in the department and keep it in the department, so that whenever you want to refer. KTRL, we have already got all these books are there in the hall. So anytime you want to refer, please you can come and refer. Just one book is just not yet reached, that is on the writing, the first book.
Technical. On writing has come. We have received the book, yes.
Which one has not come?
No, almost 11 books we have placed order and we have received it.
No, one has not come. No.
11 books.
11, one.
On writing also we have got it. Yes, we have.
So we have all the books here. So all the books are here, faculty, it's for your information. Please check it out. Whenever you want to read, please you can come and read. I'm not talking about the PBL novels. Okay? I'm talking of the other texts that are mentioned there. The PBL novels are also coming, but all the PBL novels are available as PDFs also. But as please, it's a very humble request as faculties. Please do not share the PDF version of the novels to the students. Please ask them to buy the book. Please ask them to buy the books. Whichever book they are following, or whichever book they are going to have it as their PDF. The Nyaya Sutra extract is also there. I think, have I sent it to you? Extract is there. How many of you went through that? The extract gives you a small gist on what Svat and Vitanda, how to versus that. So please go through that. Read it. We will have to read it at least few times. Yes, have you gone through the first 12 SLOs? Who's playing first one. You see, module 2, there is no reference on IKS. Okay, module 3 is only about writing. And please see to it that every student has listened to, we should all be feminists. Please ensure that every student has heard it. Now, how do you ensure that? By questioning them, giving them some tasks or any surprise questions, or we want every student to be aware of these things beyond gender. See, the portfolio part, I think yesterday Kavita had spoken on this. Portfolio is about reflective writing. Okay. So whatever writing they do, whatever they learn, if you see at the end of every SLO, end of the every module, there is an SLO which talks about a portfolio. So whatever student has learned there, whatever they will, means they want to implement, they don't want, what was good for them, what was bad for, whatever. It's just a reflective piece of writing.
Journal entry.
Yes. Journal entry, correct, but then this is little more, in detail. So student after every module writes one document.
Prepare some-
Number of pages also is there, I think. If it's not there, yes. Offline. Because we are planning to have it online, but currently it is offline. Because we don't have it. All pen and paper in class. Students are not going to write it at home. They can upload it on your Teams, but they have to write it in front of you. It is an in-class assignment. It is not any pre-reading, anything you want them to read and come, please give it as a reading task. But no writing task at home. It has to be done during the practice hours. So please plan accordingly.
பூங்குடி மேம் ப்ராக்டிஸ் பற்றி கேட்குறேன். ப்ராக்டிஸ் session plan sheet. This sheet is not with them.
The session plan?
Sheet, this sheet, this they don't have.
Oh, acha, I opened it.
The other one, yeah. That's what it was. This is session. Ma'am, பூங்குடி ma'am.
Oh, okay. Come on. preference instead of entering marks. So that is left to the team how you can decide how you can want to put it. But how come we have five see how, see every time, see the number of how many times you enter marks, tell me. 5 times. How do you divide it? What do you do in the first?
5, 15, 15, 10.
5, 15?
1 15, 1 5 and 1 10.
That was for CTV, and then 10 marks for the LLT, and then we go for 40 marks from the
That's for 60.
That's for 60. Now it is for 50. Now in this 20, we what at KT, I think 20 can be given to the PBL. The 20% CLA 3 practice. Okay. Now the first CA1 and CA2 weightage is only here. The number of marks you can decide. You can give a certain marks for practice that you do, certain marks for your theory exam that you do. Within each. Add both added together, you put here, the weightage should be 15.
The voting we enter for 50.
No, it is each faculty. CA1, say நம்ம module 3, the model மட்டும் தான். So we'll decide that how, ஏன்னா உங்களுக்கு model இல்லை மேம், ராமபுரத்துல model இருக்கா?
Yeah, no, we don't have a model, but we conduct uniform across all departments. So there is a single question paper that's given. Model exam, CA1,
CA1, CA2 then?
common question paper, which is level and sent across. All departments write it at one time. So model exam conduct பண்ண மாட்டோம். ஆனா model exam model
see both, I think all CA1, CA2, CA3, there has to be proper, split up for written and practice. Okay. Equal distribution. And then for the CLA 3 practice, which is alone 20, there we can put as portfolio and PBL. 10 for portfolio, 10 for PBL. 30 marks is alone, the whole thing, yes. The rest of the syllabus that you teach. What happened? So for one CLA, we can conduct 2 tests. 2 tests is not required practice, which you already do in the lab, in the class. The other one, you can have one assignment, one surprise test, one the way we do it. Quiz or okay. See, the number of marks you conduct, you do that. If as a teacher from my class, I want to conduct session was taken on a lot of written thing is there. That means I conducted for a lot of marks. Suppose I conduct second CA for 16 marks and I convert it into 10. It can be done. But micro level it's not being thought because I thought teachers can conduct their CA1, CA2 in class as per their.
But then how do you say that?
Return can be their assignment, can be a test in the class, it can be one surprise test, whatever.
There is no model before. But it's up to us to either conduct oral or written, take an assignment, keep a test.
Oh, written nale, அது நமக்கு
Syllabus structure and written.
ஆமா. But there are 10 different modes which we'll discuss last time itself. You can conduct tests in these 10 modes. But then we had one model test. So other எப்போ பண்ணலாம்? எப்போ? So CA2 can be the model. CA2 10 can be model. 5 CA1 le 15 irukku adula you can conduct 2 or 3. CA2 le 1 5 mark. 10 marks can be model. Weightage. Model exam. Yes. Oh, the 20 marks now.
சார் முடிக்க டைம் வேணும் சார் அதுவும் யோசிக்கணும் டைம் வேணும் சார் எப்படி முடிப்பீங்க ஆமா 89 முக்கால் நாள் தான் பண்றோம் கரெக்ட் நாங்க பையன் பண்ணோம்ல சார் நம்ம பண்றது தான் ஓகே அவங்க செம்மெண்ட் எக்ஸாம் எழுதுவாங்க சார் அதுக்கு அவங்களை ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ண வேணாமா ட்ரெயின் பண்ண வேணாமா இன்னும் பெட்டர் சொல்யூஷன் அரைவ் பண்ணணும்னு சொல்றேன் எல்லாமே தான் சொல்றேன் ஜல்பா
Now we'll see the lesson, my dear. As it comes, we'll go with the flow. That will be best.
ஒரு 2 நாள் டைம் கொடுங்க ஒரு வாரம் டைம் படிச்சுன்னு வரோம் அப்புறம் we'll have a one day workshop on this
I started this morning session by saying that we are all in with the teething issues. Definitely, till first semester gets over, we will have a lot of questions in what we do is right or wrong. But
Just one thing that, what do you say? Okay. I don't want you to end the semester with a lot of doubts. Okay. First CCM, please take your time till the first CCM, prepare yourself. After, in the second CCM, please come up with your doubts. Please don't wait until the end. Oh, we could not this. This was you didn't give clarity on that. Please don't wait for that. We are all on expedition. That means you know how important it is for each one when they hold hand. Not even one finger can be left out, right? So that is what I want from each one of you. So please do not wait till December to clear your doubts or to tell about your difficulties or problems. Make it a point to attend, and even if you're not attending something, please send it by mail. Okay, please do that. Yes, thank you.
On that note, we have come to the last session of this FTP. I'm here to deliver the report. It gives us immense pleasure to present a brief report on the Confluence, a 2-day faculty training program on professional English for engineers, organized by the Department of Language, Culture and Society, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, which is held on 17th and 18th of July 2026. We had participants from all our campuses, that is Trichy, Ramapuram and Vadapalani campus, and we also have the NCR participants online. So the program was designed to equip faculty members with innovative pedagogical practices and industry-oriented perspectives for teaching professional English to engineering students. The first day of the session commenced with an inaugural session followed by a series of enriching technical sessions. The first invited speaker, Dr. Dinesh Khanna, Global Head, Customer Success, Zoho, spoke on academics, languages and industry connect. He highlighted the importance of bringing academia and industry and discussed the industry's key expectations of undergraduate engineering students, particularly in communication, adaptability and professional skills. The second session was delivered by Ms. Kavita Krishnakumar, Director, Kshatriya Academy on Career Communications and Portfolio-Based Assessment. She emphasized the importance of career communication and encouraged faculty members to adapt unconventional and portfolio-based methods of teaching and assessment to better prepare students for the workplace. The final session of day 1 was concluded by our head of the department, Dr. Kavita L. Nair, who shared her insights on project-based learning through hands-on group activity based on poem from new professional English syllabus. She demonstrated how collaborative discussion and active learning can be effectively integrated into the classroom. The second day began with a wrap of previous day's proceedings. Due to unforeseen reasons, the second day's session was online, that is today's session. Nevertheless, the program continued seamlessly with enthusiastic participation from all the campuses. The second day featured 3 sessions by distinguished resource persons from RUC, followed by a faculty interaction session, providing participants with further opportunities to reflect on innovative pedagogical practices and their implementation in engineering education. The first session of the day was delivered by Sri Raghava Krishna, founder and CEO of RUC, on teaching, critical inquiry, evidence evaluation and responsible dialogue in engineering education. He introduced the participants to the concepts of Indian knowledge system and highlighted its significance and relevance in contemporary education. The second session was conducted by Sri Srinivas Jamal Madaka, Director of IKS Research, BRAC, on IKS for Global Future. He explained the what, why and how of Indian knowledge system, discussing its core principles, worldview and implications for higher education. The post-lunch session, also led by Dr. Srinivas, focused on integrating IKS into curriculum and syllabus. Through an engaging interaction, he demonstrated practical approaches for incorporating IKS into engineering education while addressing the participants' questions, misconceptions and assumptions regarding its implementation. Over the 2 days, the Confluence successfully nurtured meaningful dialogue between academia and industry, encouraged adoption of innovative teaching methodologies and reinforced the importance of communication, critical inquiry, project-based learning and interdisciplinary approaches in engineering education. On behalf of the Department of Language, Culture and Society, I extend our sincere gratitude to all the distinguished resource persons, the university administration and the organizing committee and every participant for making this FTP a great success. And do we have any feedbacks from participants? Just one liner, maybe we'll take 2 feedbacks. We do encourage your feedback.
Okay, I'd like to give a feedback because I want to commend Dr. Kavita Nair and the kind extensive work this has done. Seems to be like a labor of love because this is very hard work. This is not something that could have been accomplished overnight. And I'm sure she has a team behind her who is supporting her and who is making sure such things happen. And if we take a page of Dr. Nair's enthusiasm, and even if we kind of, maybe even 10% move it into our classrooms, to actually see her vision for what it is. She's creating relevance for it, again for us in the engineering classrooms. She is creating space for us to show our audience, that is our students, that we are capable of critical thought, which we are unable to do with just dealing with proposals and whatnot. So she's giving space for all of us to become relevant again, to be respected in our classrooms again, so that this is not the light class where people come to just spend time, talk at the back and leave. Now, if you want to be relevant, and I've just been with her over the couple of sessions online and phone calls that very often I've challenged her more than not. So through every discussion, my respect has grown profoundly for her and the work she's doing. So if we actually move, say about 10% of what she's trying to do for us and move it into the classrooms, I think we would have made quite a mark by the end of the semester. So instead of seeing this as a hard exercise, a difficult exercise, oh God, I don't know how I'm going to do this, to actually see the questioning pattern as to move to how can we make this work. If you just shift that perception into how am I going to make this work? How am I going to make this successful? How am I going to make that vision a reality? When we shift that perception, I think more than questions and challenges, we are going to ask questions, exactly, not Vitanda, Vada, right? So we are going to go into Vada, figure out how we are going to make this happen, make this a reality in the classrooms. Now, I have no vested agenda. I am not someone who's been with her through the journey. I have absolutely no hand in this, right? But in spite of that, just seeing the sheer hard work and dedication that's gone into it, the little bit I can do, one, huge respect for the work that has been done. Yes, and thank you for giving us relevance again in the classroom. And thirdly, my request is to all the faculty members, even some of mine are here, all of you to just try. Just give it an honest shot before you find why we cannot do it. Look at for why we can and how we can. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir, after ma'am. Good evening, everyone. It's very happy and delightful that I have to share my feedback here. So we have not been familiar with any of you here, especially the KTR campus faculty. I have been communicating with them only over phone. So after coming over here, I could find each and every of the soul in KTR being very kind. I have found the head of the department, Dr. Kavita Nair ma'am, so kind and so cool in each of her disposition. Really, it is very happy, and we are very much elated to be here and as the part of this 2-day training program. And the thing is that, as Radhika ma'am has told, it's the labor of love from Kavita Nair ma'am and her team. Still, we could say that love's labor should not be lost, because we have to put our heart and soul together in each and every of our attempts to make this syllabus a successful one. And I also thank the organizers for the wonderful arrangements with regard to our accommodation and everything. Thank you, one and all.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Ramesh from SRM Trichy campus. After a heavy indoctrination, rather intoxication of the third day, I should say, of Vada, Vidanda and Jalpa. My Jalpa, I mean, feedback is not Vidanda Vada, so to be straight. So the first day it was very, we had, at least I felt like we are a heavy-nosed professional sitting back at the back rows and little, quite professional, not to get into some relevant discussion all that. And then second day, when I would rather say that women Dhoni got into the playground, she got the momentum. She erased distinction between the senior, junior, everybody come on, get into the job and do the work. And that was a thawing moment, more than the takeaway that I learned from pedagogical practices. This is the experiential learning which I cherish home, brimming with gratitude and joy and love of labor. And seeing some of the work that you have done at close quarters, our respect to ma'am, headed by Kavita Nair, ma'am has grown several fold as being witnessed by another ma'am. So I would love to come to such gathering again and again, because this is one rare moment, as the word suggests, confluence. So I believe this confluence lead to oasis of a symbiotic professional networking. That's what I believe. I gathered during the tea break some of the acquaintances, which I hope will be in the wrong way. I can cherish as a sort of a guide, all that.
One Dr. Algates.
Ah yes, Algates. I'm just.
He is Algates actually. He is Algates actually.
Yes. Yes. Way comedy but Algates, since he has been sort of a spark discussion every now and then whenever the momentum went down. Anyway, it's been a fantabulous experience coming to KTR from Trichy for the first time, and we look forward to such experiences the days together, ahead of the years to come. So again, one more word of appreciation to the entire team and crew. It's not an easy task to compile a book at such a short span of time, and a happy combination of literature and the BPL and all other industry connect collaborative initiatives all brought down the manifesto that is there in front of you. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you very much. It's a beautiful experience for everyone, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those wonderful words about all of us. And now I request our head of the department to deliver a small memento to the head of the department from Trichy campus and from Ramapuram campus. Ma'am, please come.
Before this memento, Dr. Radhika, when she started, see, it's not just one person's work. Dr. Radhika and Dr. Shanmugapriya, Dr. Shalini, Dr. Madhurima from Delhi campus, we have been close, touch at least on what can be done, what cannot be done. A few texts have been recommended by Dr. Radhika, so it's not one person, definitely not one person's work. And I would like to thank every one of you who has been part of it, which I've already been communicated as, I've already always told that it's always a teamwork, whether beginning or whether end or whether to the process. So I look at all of you as the seeds. My favorite line is this, they thought they destroyed me, but they didn't know that I am a seed. You understand that? So all of us, from the last 4 years, from last quite a few years, I have been wanting to see, as she rightly pointed out, relevance for the departments. We cannot be just sidelined, cornered, and it cannot be done. If our syllabuses keep on going in the same way, we'll be irrelevant for some time. And as departments are closing up, you can see across the world, departments are slowly closing. So we just trying to be relevant, and that's the only thing I want the department, each one of us who has been serving as a teacher in this particular subject, to be a seed, to grow it, just like germinate and just keep infecting everybody else whom you meet in life. So it's definitely a labor of love, but definitely, as you added, it should not be lost. And I'm sure that you will never let it happen, because anytime each one of us is available for handholding. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for the kind words, and same respect, same love, same reverence for each one of you. I'm so happy to have such a team across campuses and in my campus too. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Small token of love from the table. Please keep it on your table. We also request the other campus participants to come and take a small memento from our side. Ma'am, please. Pardon, ma'am. So please come. Ma'am.
Being invited to collect a memento. People from other campuses.
Please, I want you.
Spoken over place, I don't know if you remember. We were scrutinizing our paper in
Very sorry. Sorry for the experience.
I told this to everybody come. This is what you always had a Ramesh, Ramesh. Let us face it now.
This is like owner's pride.
Ranga.
It is a best moment for our department because we have our research scholar who has been here as a PG student and a research scholar and now part of our teaching family.
We claim ownership.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you all for being wonderful participants.
Yes, and lots of love to all my KCR family. Okay? Thank you.
This definitely should go with a vote of thanks. I know I've been thanking quite a few people and all of you directly thank people. So on behalf of the entire team of LCS across campuses too, this Confluence, a 2-day faculty training program on professional English for engineers, has come to a close. And we extend our sincere thanks to our esteemed resource persons, Dr. Dinesh Khanna, Ms. Kavita Krishnakumar, Dr. Kavita L. Nair, Sri Raghava Krishna and Sri Srinivas for sharing their invaluable expertise, insightful perspectives and inspiring ideas. Their sessions have enriched us with innovative pedagogical approaches, industry insights and a deeper understanding of Indian knowledge system. As I said before, it has made me understand that I do not know many things. I do not know what I do not know also. So this is what I'd like to actually endo you tell we should not have any doubts, but still. A special word of appreciation goes to the media team, the images team for making it live so that you are able to make our NCR campus to participate with us. For the IT and technical support team for ensuring seamless execution, both online and offline sessions. Thank you very much for that. We are equally grateful for the mess and catering team, for the housekeeping staff, and for bringing in so much of cleanliness, hygiene, and keeping us good health for the past 2 days. Thank you very much for those team. Special thanks goes to our department non-teaching staff members. We shouldn't even name them as non-teaching. Our people like Moses, Anna, Sunil, Danush, for being here always. Special thanks to Augustine sir, Jayanti ma'am and Anita ma'am. Our special appreciation goes to our research scholars without whom nothing would have been possible, you know, a lively spirit. They are always our spine, okay? Without them, we are nothing. So special thanks to our research scholars and special thanks to all those committee members who are part of this FTP. Finally, we thank the management for having given us an opportunity to think on something new in terms of this regulation, the 26 regulation, and giving us the freedom to float what is the need of the hour, so that as our Vice Chancellor said, as our Founder Chancellor said, our students should not be saleable, they should be on demand. I'm sure this particular syllabus is going to handhold them for the third year, for the final year, and they would be people who are on demand both on ethics wise and on knowledge wise. On that note, on a very positive note, with all gratitude one and all, we conclude this session. Thank you all very much. And now we have the national anthem. We request you to raise for the national anthem.
The one quotation was, they tried to destroy me, but they didn't know that I was a seed. That's the quotation. Thank you.
Please, all of you, we stand here, join here for a group